A very warm welcome to a new series of A Podful of Saints. It's actually got a new name, this series, well, it has this week. It's a pod full of ex-Saints plus one. The ex-Saints of myself and Lee Wood. The club decided we were superfluous to requirements during the summer. And
Quite
Jake is plus one. He is still clinging on by his fingernails. Would you like to say hello, Lee?
Hello, everyone. How are you? Tabs, how are you, mate? You okay?
I'm very well. As we saw you last week, you look very well then. And Jake, as we know, you see him, you don't know whether he's well.
He's all right, mate. He's one of the in-men now, so he's sorted.
Well, his football's sorted out this season, and he'll still be going down to Clarence Park. He's still the blue-eyed boy. I bought myself a Harpenden Town season ticket just in case as a backup. Where are you going to go for your football, Lee? I guess any club that's next door to a pub.
Well, yeah, and why not? Sometimes, mate, I don't even make it as far as the game, so it's I'm spoilt for choice, mate. So
now this is my first time on Zoom, and the picture keeps changing. And it's confusing me. So we get stuck straight into football matters straight away. Jake, as we said, the blue-eyed boy, he's been to about all but two of the pre-season games, plus Saturday's FA Cup win over Hitchin Town. So you've got the best idea, Jake, of how things are shaping up. Friendlies are notorious. You can't judge anything by them. We are 9 games unbeaten in them. What did you make of it?
It was just a fairly standard pre-season. I thought, the boys looked all right, sort of just fitness-wise. Quite notable how we pretty much played the most games out of any club in the division, and we started very early. So I think that probably is going to help going forward. But we've looked all right. It's just been very routine for me and Alison, a very Ian summer. I mean, last summer we had a really good summer and then sort of started the campaign awfully. So obviously a bit different with yesterday's result against Hitchin, but some decent signs. I think the standout is obviously Sean Jeffers, 6 goals in the summer, and he's just looked like a natural up front, and I think hopefully he can replace Joe's goals. So I mean, I know we're going to touch upon it, but yeah, quite a lot of change this summer in terms of on the pitch anyway.
Yeah, what was it, about 9-10 new signings in all? Was he a standout player in the pre-season games as well, do you think? I know you said he got those goals, but is he the one that stood out?
Yeah, he has. He's sort of come with quite a big billing from Chelmsford. Maybe not necessarily with the fans, but I know Ian was very excited to sign him, and I think he's really impressed so far. Obviously, Ian's gone for a lot of players again from the division below, which he went with last summer. I think this summer he's gone for players that are a bit more stronger physically and a bit quicker. So I think that's sort of Ian's plan this year, sort of just to go very attacking. And of course, the standout result of the summer was against Wealdstone, the National League South champions, 4-0, very comfortable. I think the standout that day was just how quick we were moving through the thirds and moving through Wealdstone's midfield. So I think that's definitely what Ian is planning this summer, or this season even.
I remember last summer, we both quite liked the look of Devante Stanley, who didn't hang around for too long for other reasons. But again, this summer, he hasn't looked too bad from a few games I've seen of him.
No, he's quite good going forward. I think defensively he's still got a little bit to learn. I mean, he can probably get a little bit exposed, but I think he looks good. He's going to add a lot going forward, and I think it's going to be good having him at right back, because sort of last season at right back we had a variety of players. I mean, obviously we had Dave Deju, etc., filling in there, and they didn't always do the job. So I think he'll be important there. Have a bit of pace in the back four, which I think was severely lacking last season.
Right, obviously, Lee, you weren't able to get to too many friendlies. Do you want to comment about some of the players that have gone? We lost Sam Merson, Dean Snedker. Apparently, Joe Ishipano and David Long King have left, but there's nothing on the website about it, so we just have to take your word for it. Harry Forster and Lewis Gordon went back to Watford. Lewis has since moved on to Brentford. And Rodell Gordon left, and Jefferson Louis. Any thoughts on any of those, Lee?
Well, I spoke to a few of my friends who are Hitchin Town fans, because I actually still work for their programme. So they speak very highly of Michael Johnson. And so I think when Dean Snedker did go, I think it was important to sort of replace him for, a good calibre of keeper. It would have been very easy for Ian just to sort of go through the motions, maybe get a keeper from a lower division of not any sort of calibre. But he's now stepped up to it. Although he played a little bit for Braintree, but they really do rate him highly at Hitchin. And I think the good thing about it is the fact that he's probably more commanding than what Dino used to be. I think the one criticism many people had of Dino was that he wasn't very, very commanding. and the defenders almost had to sort of like position themselves, and it was hard to sort of do that with no confidence in what Dino was sort of saying. So, but I think Snedker moving on, he tried his luck last season trying to hold the club to account a little bit by plumping for a bigger contract, but that didn't quite work out for him this time around. But in terms of people like Sam Merson, I think it was probably evident that Ian didn't really fancy him. He played himself into the side 18 months ago, and he was very hard to sort of drop by then, and he was rewarded with a very big sort of contract. But again, you have to replace the goals, and I think we have done that to a certain degree. I think it's just important now not to get too carried away with all the pre-season results, because how many sort of times have all of us watched a really fruitful pre-season period? And as Jake said there, we turn up when it really doesn't matter, and we're slow out of the blocks, really.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
on that point, Lee, Hitchin Town played 8 pre-season friendlies, won the lot. We were unbeaten in 9, but they won all of their 8. And then they won their opening league game. Then they won the FA Cup tie. Since then, 3 away games, hammered in 2 of them, and lost the other one as well.
Yeah. I mean, I would just say, and sort of Dean Snedker and Sam Merson, obviously Sam's sort of gone to Hamworth Villa, isn't he? Which is quite a few steps below us. So I think that sort of indicates, sadly, his sort of desire to push up in the game. That sort of spell he had on loan at QPR for about 4 months, not on loan, sorry, on trial. It's sort of just really, ever since, he just hasn't kicked on. And Dean Snedker, it was notable how he's indicated that he wanted a National League move, even a Football League move, and yet he ends up down the road, Hemel Hempstead Town, and he didn't even get into the team against AFC Dunstable in the FA Cup yesterday. So,
Jake, if you look though, mate, it's the same for David Long King. He wanted a chance to play at a National League level. Yeah. But Ian said to him, so well, hang on a minute, mate, you're part of the reason why we ship so many goals, and it's very hard to sort of justify. The club would never get in the way of a big move for any player, but you had to sort of justify that in the first place. And it's so difficult when we were so bad last season for any player to turn around to Ian Anderson and say, well, look, I want to move up, into the National League. Yeah,
and it's the same as well. Joe Ichifano, of course, he sort of said he wanted the National League move and ends up at Havant and Waterlooville. But that's the way. And when the money's being offered, you're not going to turn it down, are you?
I think with Dean Snedker, when he had a bad spell, he did have a bad spell, and it stood out. But over the whole of the season, I wouldn't have been against him getting the Player of the Year, because he had enough good games to counteract. But I certainly don't think Joey Ichifano should have got it. And so in that way, I'm disappointed to see Dean go, but by the sound of it, we have signed a good one.
Yeah, agreed.
Replacement. Yeah. Right. Jefferson Lewis gone obviously at the end of his getting towards the end of his career. He's still playing though. He's at Beaconsfield Town.
It's not bad,
those other new signings, they're all lower league. So we move on to a Hitchin Town game. It's horrible being at a competitive game, the FA Cup, with nobody there, no atmosphere. It's not enjoyable, and it didn't feel like an FA Cup tie, and it certainly didn't feel like one for Hitchin when they went down to 10 men after less than 20 minutes. We were 2-0 up, game over.
Yeah, it was. It's quite a funny game, wasn't it? Because Hitchin actually had a lot of the ball. They actually looked quite good throughout the game, but those 2 early goals for us and those 3 very late goals just really, flattered the scoreline in terms of, towards the Saints. So, I mean, it's good. How often have we faced sides like Hitchin in the FA Cup, particularly in the second qualifying round, and struggled against them and had to go to replays? Obviously, there's no replays now, but, ends up in a penalty shootout, say, it would have been yesterday. So at least we were clinical. But as you say, without fans, it really is. So there's no atmosphere. There's nothing at all. I mean, Lee, I know, and I think you as well, Dave. You sort of went to Harpenden Town the other week for the FA Cup, didn't you? And I can imagine that was totally different to the experience that would have been at Clarence Park yesterday.
It wasn't quite buzzing, but there were people there.
The thing with that is that it was near enough their sort of record attendance. They can only have sort of 300 in there. But I think you can just sense people wanted to see live football, live competitive football. And the FA Cup is always going to attract a few sort of like ground hoppers anyway. But it was good enough, wasn't it, Tabs? It wasn't really competitive on the pitch, but it was just sort of getting back into the sort of swing of things. And it is disappointing that City are playing FA Cup games with no fans. But obviously we know why. But it's just, I think the players have done well just to get the result there, really, and hopefully move on. But I don't envy them, because the one thing about being a St Albans City fan is that we do help add to the atmosphere. You know, we can sing, we can chant, we can get behind the players. And I think that obviously we are missed. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I saw on the forum that there was one commenter saying that was the
don't go on there, mate.
No,
don't go on there.
Yeah, he was the only the second FA Cup game for the Saints he'd missed in 37 years, and so that's absolutely gutting for so many of our supporters to not be in the ground.
I thought I was going the same way, Jake. But to keep the fans involved, of course, we had a streaming service yesterday. Well, we did in name, we didn't in practice. Now, you were working with the people up in the gantry, Jake. I didn't leave anything up there from last season, did I?
No, it was totally empty.
Very nice and clean and tidy.
Yeah.
The system, it kept freezing during the first half, and it gave up the ghost in the second half, apparently. What was your take of it up there? Were you aware of the problems?
Yes, very early on. I got a text from, and he'll be delighted by this call out, of course, Ian Hall. I got a text from him. Yeah, because he had nothing else to do on his Saturday. Laura's probably out with the girls. Sort of texting me saying, "I can't hear you, Jake." So I was like, "Okay, that's an issue."
Problem.
That's not a bad thing, mate, is it?
So I got the impression there was issues, and then it sort of we got to half time, as you said, there was buffering, etc. And then sort of half time just seemed to just totally fall down. And now, upon investigation, it seems like the streaming platform that I've heard today, the streaming platform had issues for a variety of clubs, including Dartford, Tonbridge, and a few others. So I don't know the ins and outs.
Is that the official sort of party line you have to
sort of his way out?
Is that what you're sort of doing?
No, this is all right. I've heard. I'm very unofficial here.
Right, well, I got in touch with the company, which is Match Peak.
Oh no!
I was guessing from the man who should be in the know. Here's a reply from them. First of all, I'd like to apologise for the issues Saints fans experienced on yesterday's stream. The issues themselves arose from fluctuating connectivity, speeds of the ground, as well as the audio mic used for commentary. These are aspects of a stream that was set up and organised by the club volunteers, so unfortunately out of our hands. It was a case of connecting our camera to a club-supplied laptop, mic and 4G dongle. We have recorded the game in full on our end and will be able to send full match footage, presumably that's to supporters. As for refunds, it says that's down for the club to sort out, not the company.
Well, I am very much here, my unofficial, as just a Saints supporter, because the pod full of Saints.
You should make that clear. You're not here representing the club.
No, the pod full of Saints is just for Saints supporters.
And why are you here at all, my friend?
That's very true. So, I mean, thank you to Match Peak for providing that update. That's very nice of them. But the latest I had heard from...
They're saying it's all your fault, mate.
Yes. But yeah, so what I'd heard about the streaming platform was sort of Dartford supporters, Slough supporters, etc. It seems there was a related issue as well. So it seems like
the tweet as well yesterday, Lee, because that wasn't great. That tweet seemed to miss a sending off, which is quite crucial in the FA Cup tie, but it didn't warrant a mention.
Well, listen, mate. We've all been involved in the club Twitter at some point, and you're never happy. If Jake does it, you hammer him. Yeah. If I do it, you hammer me.
We hammer Jake for everything. He gets
I see. Okay, right, fine. It's a pretty it's a thankless task. But you would admit that getting a red card should have been a priority in a tweet. But there we go.
Yeah. I think that was just a slight mistake on the person that was tweeting yesterday. So, but again, I'm here unofficially.
Are you naming and shaming now? Because if you're here as a fan, you can tell us who it was. So
No.
Build on that. No, I see. Right. Okay.
No. But yeah, on the streaming, I think there were a variety of issues, and I think, hopefully supporters that did pay, like Dave, I can't believe Dave paid for something, will hear shortly from the club. Oh, dear.
Right, that's Hitchin done with. Let's hope that things pick up for them because I do like Hitchin.
Yeah.
They're at home on Monday night. I might go there, but I'll certainly go the following Monday because Neil from the Hearts Head's going to go and meet up with him.
Oh.
Did you look at the other FA Cup results involving National League South sides? Either of you?
No, don't care about them.
Thank you for all doing your homework. Well, that's it. We'll see you next week. 6 of our lot went out.
Oh.
The two worst results, Welling United, 2-0 defeat at Sheppey United. And poor old Hungerford Town, we're not expecting good things of them. They got done well and truly, 4-0 at Truro City. Not the start either of those two were after.
No, I can't say the Truro result particularly surprises me. They're a very strong team, and going down there is always going to be difficult. I saw that Concord snuck through against Potter's Bar today with
How many?
2-1 late winner. And also Braintree beat # on penalties yesterday. So
What about Havant from today? You got their result?
No, come on, Dave. Don't be silly. We're not that organised.
Well, you've been busy. Happy birthday to your daughter. How old is she?
She's 7, mate. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Lee's daughter. Has she got a name?
Eleanor.
Eleanor. Happy birthday.
And you know this as well. You just kind of, you know.
If we'd forgotten it, she'd have been Eleanor Cross. Right, a few other cup results. Bath City struggled a bit before going through against Winchester City. Billericay went out on penalties away to Brackley. Now, all these games that are draws, they went straight to penalties. No extra time. In the competition proper, they get extra time then penalties. It's the same competition. Why the difference?
Because...
But they're all like... Go on.
I was just going to say, because non-league clubs aren't important.
Yeah.
No, we're not elite. No, but what it is you think about it though, right? As the more you go along in the competition, these players are going to be full time, or they're going to be, you know. And also, just want to nip it in the bud early. Everyone does. You really want to see another half an hour, especially when fans aren't allowed in to some of the games. Just play the penalties and then crack on.
I want my money's worth for my $6.99 for the streaming league.
Well, there's a surprise.
Right, carry on with a few other results here. Our neighbours, Hemel Hempstead Town, won away to AFC Dunstable. Not the toughest of games, but they got through. Tunbridge won away to Farnborough. Ian Anderson, his son Lee, they're out of cup. They went down 1-0 at home to Maidstone. You were both at Hendon, weren't you?
Mm.
Was that one of the worst 0-0 draws in a friendly you'll ever see?
Yes, it was truly shocking.
The bar was nice.
Yeah. The very socially distanced bar at all times.
Yeah.
I take solace from that result in so much that it was a nice hot day and it was a nice. Well, a good few City fans went down there as well because it was one of the first games that all day we were allowed back.
Mm.
So it was sort of nice. Yeah, but I say, it was sort of nice to meet up with a few friendly faces and a few unfriendly faces, but still, we were all there, so it was good.
We had a nice day on the train, didn't we?
We did. We were train friends that day, weren't we?
We were, and it was good to see Ian Ridley was there as well.
Yeah.
So
Ian Ridley actually
Tabs, I understand that you had a good chat with him.
Yeah, he actually rates Mitchell Weiss. He thinks he'd do a good job for us.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
And Ian Ridley's never wrong.
Running through the FA Cup results, how long we got left? No one's timed it. That's good. Dorking Wanderers 3 times came from behind against Eastbourne Borough. It's a hat trick for Chris Whelpdale. Didn't do them any good. They lost on penalties. So Steve King's out the FA. No, he's not. Mark White's out the FA Cup already. Just if you're paying attention.
Yeah.
Ebbsfleet United. A whole new team for them this season. A German manager struggled yesterday. Hastings United 2-2, beaten 4-1 on penalties. Have you kept an eye on Ebbsfleet at all, Jake? Because big changes there. Yeah,
big changes. They've even brought in a couple of players with the German manager. I think he was at Sporting Club Berlin in the sort of the 4th or 5th German tier. He's brought in a few of those players, and it's a new experience for him. He's never managed in England before, so be interesting to see. I think they're the real side that don't know where they could finish this season. Could finish bottom, could finish top. They're spending a little bit of money, so their financial troubles seem to be behind them for now. So I think it could be very...
I'll tell you what, though, mate, he's going to get an absolute shock if he's come from Berlin and he's ended up in Ebbsfleet.
Yeah.
That's going to be a major. He's in for a rude awakening there, isn't he, fellas? Goodness me.
It might be before your time, Lee. Did you go there when it used to be Gravesend and whatnot? And it was a good old Southern League ground.
Gravesend and Northley, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he got his dreams of grandeur with his, was it the Middle Eastern Consortium? And the whole town was going to be regenerated. And didn't quite work out.
I used to like the old Gravesend ground. It had a sort of old sort of character to it. And I think when Liam Daish was the manager there, he sort of bought into it as well, didn't he? And I remember sort of speaking to him because we used to do their programme, and it was all, as you sort of say, ideas of grandeur, attracting fans from far and wide. And it just didn't materialise, did it? And I think they were sort of spending above their means in the end. And the fairy tale soon turned into a nightmare.
Yeah. I remember going there first of all. It was about 1972. They were playing football back then, Jake. Now, I was right about Steve King. He is out of the FA Cup. They lost 1-0 at home to Slough. That was two big North National League South sides drawn together. Slough won it with a last-minute penalty by Jack McKnight.
Surprise result. Yeah, surprise. But will King be that bothered? I don't think so. He's going to be going out all for the league this season. He's brought in quite a few players, and I think that's all he's going to want. I mean, obviously he got to the playoffs, the delayed playoffs, after that brilliant turnaround that he sort of had at Dartford. So, I don't think he'll be disappointed, but I don't think he'll be too devastated by it.
Dulwich had problems, drew away to Corinthian Casuals. Of course, no Dulwich fans allowed at that ground, and they got a lot of publicity out of that, but Dulwich won on penalties in the end. Braintree went a goal down in injury time to #United, but equalised seconds later and won 7-6 on penalties. What else have we got? Hampton, who we've got on Tuesday night, they beat Corinthian of the Southern Counties East League, which one that was passed me by. Hampton won with a first half goal. So let's have a look at Tuesday then, shall we? What are we thinking towards?
Oh, well, it's going to be about 5-0 again, isn't it?
You'd have thought so. We haven't conceded a goal in the last 3 competitive games, so you can't see it being a problem.
Oh, I spoke to Ian last night.
You're allowed to, yeah, okay.
Okay.
How long was that? How long was that going to come in there? Oh my goodness!
I spoke to Ian, and he said he expects a very difficult game. Obviously, Hampton last season, they started the campaign, everyone's favourites to go down, and they, 5-6 defeats, and then suddenly Jamal Lowe gets sold to Wigan, and now they're sort of a very decent side managed by Gary McCann. He's got money for the first time, think in a long time he's had as a manager, and he's put together a good squad there, and I think they're going to be difficult on Tuesday night. I think Ian would have liked a much easier game.
Your thoughts of Hampton, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, Hampton have always been one of these teams that are flat to deceive half the sort of time, because they've had the potential, they've had the players, but they've never quite materialised into a real sort of potent threat. I mean, some of the very sketchy highlights I have seen of us play, we look to have been attacking with real sort of pace. And as sort of Jake said, now the players are there. And I think Ian's bought the right players for the right formation he's going to play. I know that sounds simple, but it never really is it? But we are scoring goals and we're getting forward. No, but we are getting forward, and we're committing those midfielders as well. I can see a decent score for us on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Write it down, Jake. Make a note of it.
Well, I'm just saying, well, hang on, because I've not been sort of fortunate enough to be given like a high-vis coat to sort of see any of the games. So I'm just sort of going on the back of what I've seen on the highlights.
Highlights? What highlights? Anyway, we had mentioned a manager there, because the club's now come up with this policy that all interviews with the manager will be done in-house. So the Hearts couldn't get an interview with him yesterday. I'm now back working with the St Albans Review. My report of yesterday's game will go online on Monday. We're not allowed to interview the manager anymore. It's all done in-house. Now, it's not the right way forward. You've got to be open. You've got to be welcoming. When we used to do interviews, anybody who's in that press box really could ask an interview, because you get a different aspect and it makes it a lot more interesting. And also, I know you want to say something, Lee, and also newspapers are contracting. There's virtually no staff anymore. One member of staff is now covering not only a lot of local clubs, but vast areas. And he's not got time to go chasing up for stuff. So you've got to take that chance to put your man up there, to get your name in there, get your interviews in there, get your message out there. We are contracting. So we are missing out on publicity, which is why we're getting nothing in the Hearts out of late, because this club is going insular when it should be going outwards. Anybody disagree?
I mean, was there a reason as into why that they're not letting outside journalists speak to the manager? Jake, I guess you guys are going to have a better take on why that has happened.
It was the first I'd heard of it was when Neil Metcalf collared me. I mean, he normally collars me about everything, and he sort of just grabbed me and sort of just said, I'm not allowed to speak to Ian after game. So that was very much news to me. So that was the first I'd heard of it. So, I mean, I don't know the decision. I don't even know what had been told. So I don't know who had even told him that. So
it's disappointing because the thing is, there's been a lot about the club being a community sort of ethos over the course of the last 6 or 7 weeks. But by not having the main local papers speak to the manager, it's disappointing because you need the local press on side if you're going to progress at any club at all. Dave, I know that we've worked together at the Observer and the Heartside, and the coverage that it can take a local club, it's pivotal, absolute pivotal. And if it's any other reason than the fact that it's just pettiness, is really disappointing on the club because they need the support. They need to engage with the wider audience. The average gate was what, 600, 700 last season?
Yeah, 625.
You know, right. So you need the coverage. You know, as brilliant as the social media is, and I'm sure as brilliant as the marketing is going to be, you can only reach so many people. If you have anything at all to do with the club in the local rag, it reaches a whole new demographic that needs to be sort of tapped into, and it is extremely disappointing. And I think it needs to be reviewed by the people and the powers that be.
Let's hope so. Are we getting short for time yet, Jake?
no, there's still a little bit more time, I think.
Oh,
More waffle for you then, Tavs.
Get along. There's nothing there. Right, when's the next round of the next draw for the cup, Jake? Because the next round is only on Tuesday week and Wednesday week.
Yeah, so the draw is tomorrow. I believe about 1 p.m. again. Sort of just going to be.
It's interesting to say it's tomorrow because the weather was bad at the weekend. Now, had that game been off, you only had until Monday night to play it. If you didn't play it by then, both sides were kicked out of the competition. It's pretty tough this year.
It is, yeah. They're being very strict. I mean, sort of understandably, I suppose. And worth noting as well, the Hart County Cups are not taking place this year. So it's very much just the FA Cup for our silverware chances, apart from the league.
So we're joint Hart Senior Cup winners for 2 years.
We are.
Goes on.
We are. I mean, I don't know who's got the trophy at the moment. I don't know if sort of it's at, you know,
it's Sunday. It's Sunday we're recording this. That's Hemmel's turn. We get it on Mondays.
Is it? It's in the safe hands of Dean Snedker. Let's hope he doesn't drop it.
Oh, no.
So yeah, well, hey, you know.
You, Jake. You remember that.
So yeah, but yeah, like you said, the FA Cup, it's going to be difficult this year. So be interested to see who we get in the next round, which should be out Monday. Right,
let's quickly. Hello, what's this message that's come up? I can't read that. I haven't got my glasses on.
Oh no!
Oh, it's gone again.
Oh, that's going well.
Very quickly, Ben, your tips for promotion this season?
Crikey. Why not? Why not us? Why not us?
What would you want to analyse it in the next one? We do the predictor.
Yeah,
let's do the predictor for Hampton. Do the predictor. Okay. Go on then. You go firstly.
3-1.
In that order.
That'll do.
Jake?
I'm going to go 2-1 Saints.
I'm surrounded by idiots. You think we're going to concede a goal? It's negativity. I think we better cut it off, and we must be getting close to time.
We better do, yeah.
Right, thanks for listening. But there might be another one later in the week. If not, we'll try and get one out for next week. And this all being well, hopefully you found it on YouTube or however we've managed to get it out there. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Jake. See you on Tuesday.
Thank you, everyone.